Good morning. So in case you haven't realized yet, she's the hyper one, I'm the mellow one. So we find that balance somewhere in between. Thanks for coming down. This feels much, much warmer. You're all so far away before. Have you ever noticed how God's always trying to get our attention, always sending messages? Well, thank you for that talk up, because you nailed it. I did find God on a skinny branch, and I'll tell you more about that later, but I find that we tend to live struggling, or at least I do. I don't know if I'm the only one. Let me know, and I'll just shut up and sit down. I've found myself through life struggling with what I should do, what I was trained to do. Follow this path, be safe. While all along there's this pull to do what I've been inspired to do, what I've realized had always been my purpose to do. And that resistance to go out and share the gift. And I've found that I've worked with a lot of people who struggle with the same thing. And what I learned is that God will deliver hints. And then every now and then, if you're not listening, we get the spiritual 2x4 from God, that shove or that push. Well, we've also all known people, or at least heard about people, who have taken the risk. They've dropped whatever career they were in. They've gone on that adventure around the world, or they bought a sailboat, and you wonder whatever happened to, and then now you see them on YouTube or Facebook living their adventure. And I found myself saying, well, how come they can do it and I can't? So about 3 years ago, Kelly and I were invited up to Ashland to do what we do. I delivered some talks, Kelly sang, we did some concerts, we did some healing circles. It was amazing. It was right around Christmas time. Has anyone been to Ashland around Christmas time? No? Oh my God. You gotta go. It's like stepping into a Norman Rockwell painting. It is the coolest little town. They actually drive 20 miles an hour through town. They obey the speed limit. It was incredible. We saw, there's a lot of actors and stuff because of the Shakespeare Festival that happens most of the year there. And we saw a steampunk version of A Christmas Carol in a little dinner theater that was smaller than this sanctuary. It was amazing. So on our way home from that trip, we got this crazy idea that we would buy an RV and take life on the road, doing what we do. What would that look like? Kelly has sang at a lot of CSLs and Unities all across the country, and she sang at some of the conventions, and so she's known, and so there's some connections there, and we thought, yeah, we can make some calls. We could probably hook up some routing and do some stuff along the way. We stopped in Sacramento and found the trailer that suited our needs, had everything we needed. It wasn't too big. By the time we got to back down to Long Beach, Kelly, the research queen, had found the better version of that trailer. Some of you may have seen it parked in the back there. And we thought, yeah, let's do this. And we started planning, and we got excited, and it was fun. And then something happened. Thanks to my training growing up from my parents, I'm what we'd affectionately call a passionate entrepreneur. I'm always looking for that next thing. So Has anyone noticed that when you commit to something, everything that's not in alignment with that commitment shows up? Kind of like God going, are you sure? Are you really sure? Yeah. So in my case, I stumbled upon a business opportunity that looked like it would be simple. It would kind of run itself, and the cash would just pour in. Yeah. Well, I ignored all my own teaching, everything that I know and teach others about, ignored it all. All my parents' programming kicked in about be safe, be secure, build the bank account first, then go live life. That deferred life that we easily do. And I'd love to say that after ignoring that twist in my stomach and the loud voice in my head and the loud voice of the beautiful, intelligent, multi-talented woman at my side, ignored all of that, I'd like to say that the business has been incredibly lucrative and it's funding our glamorous tour. Truth is, it hasn't paid me a dime to date. It created a lot of stress. Our relationship, the fun was gone. Our relationship struggled. Our finances struggled. And it was a rough 3 years. So getting into it was kind of like waiting in line for a roller coaster. You know you hate roller coasters. Everything in your body is saying, what the hell am I doing here? But you've been in line, you already bought the ticket, you've been in line for an hour, and everybody's so excited about getting on this roller coaster, and I'm invested, I'm already, I paid for the ticket, I'm in line for an hour, I'm already invested, I can't walk out now, what are they all going to say? Everybody's invested, oh my God, my stomach's turning, but I know I'm going to hate it, and I'm probably going to puke when I get on this thing, and why did I do this? But we're stuck on that ride, and we can't seem to get off. That was what it was like. So now that you know what the last 3 years were like, I'll kind of bring you up to date on what's happened since. So we did that. And here we are. How we got here? We've got this retreat property in the Sequoias. And the trees have been ravished by mistletoe. Everybody familiar with mistletoe? Aside from that Christmas hang it up and get a kiss when you stand under it. Do you know that mistletoe is highly toxic? Like poisonous. And as far as trees go, it's a parasite. It literally sucks the life out of the tree. Anybody following me here? Now the tree, it would seem that the tree just doesn't know what's happening. Because it doesn't happen overnight. It's a slow process. And a branch will die off, and then a little more and a little more, and left to its own devices, the mistletoe will eventually kill the tree. It happens slowly, and the only way to deal with mistletoe is to cut off the branch where it's growing. It's the only thing you can do. After a while, it becomes systemic. It gets into the tree and it starts sprouting up all over the place. Slowly sucking the life out of the tree. Anybody relating to this? Sound like a job or a relationship you may have had or might be in? Yeah. No need to raise your hands. I can feel it in the room. So receive a breath. Breathe. Let go of any judgments that may have come up around that and try to stick with me. Because I promise the story has a happy ending. So stick with me, we'll get there. So there I am, up a tree, with a chainsaw and some limb loppers. Kelly didn't know because she doesn't like me going up the tree alone. And I'm clipping off branches that have mistletoe, and I see at the end of this branch this big, big, big bunch of the evil stuff. So it's a little out there. So I tested the branch. It had a little spring in it, and I thought, okay, I can do this, but I'll be safe. So I straddled the branch, and I scooted out a little bit, reached, and I couldn't quite get to the mistletoe. So I scooted out a little more. The branch kind of bent a little bit. Reached out a little further, couldn't quite get to it. So I got out a little further, and I reached, and just as I got my limb loppers around that branch, started to squeeze, I heard crack. So as I was sitting on the ground, beating myself up over taking not just the end, but the whole branch, beating myself up over, God, now, that branch was shading this bench, this great bench, little picnic bench underneath where it was a great spot to sit, read a book. It was nice and shaded. And all the should-haves, I should have gotten the pole loppers, I should have done it from the ground, I should have been smarter about all that stuff. Grateful that the branch had cushioned my fall. I left it. I walked away from it. I came back the next day with my chainsaw because I couldn't just leave the broken branch hanging there. I had to cut it off clean. And I climbed back up the tree and I cut it off clean, and I got down and I was sitting on that bench thinking, now what? And I looked up and I noticed that now there's this amazing view of the mountains. And there's still a lot of tree, and there's still shade. But now I have this amazing view, this whole new perspective from that bench. So I realized there's always something new. There's always something being revealed. Ernest Holmes said, life is from within outward and never without inward. So listen to your body. What's your body telling you? Those feelings that twist in the stomach, that dread when we face something, that's God nudging. We don't listen to the nudge, we get a wake-up call. A branch breaks. Oh, if you're wondering about Kelly and I, how that turned out, well, the branch broke. Our branch broke. And we rode it all the way to the ground. And from there, we found a new perspective. We consciously decided to live life walking into what we're called to do. Living with passion, making our choices based on fun as opposed to based on fear. We're doing things without really knowing what the hell we're doing sometimes. We're out here on this adventure, and it's sort of planned, and the stuff that isn't planned is sort of falling into place. And even when we find ourselves with, now what? It unfolds. We're meeting all these amazing people. They're opening their doors, their homes, their minds, their creativity to us. Yes, and I'm pointing to those two right there especially. And it's unfolding like a yellow brick road being laid before us. So we're learning as we go, and we're learning to trust. We're learning to trust our gut, to trust those feelings, and to have faith, and to know that it's not always what it looks like. And even if the branch breaks, we find new ways to look at it. So I know that you all have something to share. I know that you all have a gift to bring to the world. When we don't bring our gifts, we're being greedy. It might be fear stopping us, but really, we're being greedy. We're holding back. We have something to give. Let's give it. Share your gifts. Bring your gifts. And do the stuff that lights you up. Get out there on the skinny branch. Get out on the edge. Do the scary stuff. Push yourself. Trust. And if the branch breaks, look and see what new opportunities, what new possibilities have shown up. Because there will be something new. That branch breaking is just God saying, are you listening? Thank you.